Hello, it's Denise, Minty Green Mama. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. I wanted to come on and do a video. I've been wanting to do a video for a while. I had all these ideas and things I wanted to do, and I had one of those months where not only was I busy, and then I was just so like emotionally overloaded that like any kind of like social interactions were just like stressful for me. So I get like a social anxiety type of a thing sometimes. So I've been pretty absent on here, which is a bummer because this is actually I feel like this helps me to connect with people that like also share some of my interests, and it just kind of it gets me into my own interests and my own world versus the focusing all the time on my kids, which is the main focus of the rest of my day. So it's nice, and I've been missing it, and I haven't been watching that many videos, and I just haven't been on that much, and so it's just kind of like as September is ending, I just feel like I'm like, kind of getting really back into the swing of things, and I'm super excited about that. So I thought today, since I had time to make a video, why not do an overview video, because it is already the end of September, and I feel like I just did like my August video. So it's just like this whole month has flown by so fast. So I've been busy this month, and I'm surprised myself by I have been working with tarot and Lenormand like every day, and yet I haven't worked with a whole bunch of decks or read a whole bunch of books or anything. So this is going to be an interesting video. I have been doing some crafts, however. I like to do a lot of crafts. I feel like as we move into like fall and autumn, like I just feel like doing more crafts and baking and cooking and all that stuff more. I don't know, like I love the fall. I feel like I come alive in the fall, so I'm excited. So one of the things I've been doing, actually, I make I make all these little necklaces, and I'm sending these out actually tomorrow. Oh my gosh, because it's Sunday. So I'm sending these out. I have a place that I send them, like a little shop. So I've been really working hard on those, and I've got a bunch of those done, and they're all ready to go find new homes. And that's my main craft that I've been working on, because I don't have a lot of free time. So that took up a lot. And the other thing that I worked on and I got finished this month was this. One of the things I am doing now is I'm trying to stick to a little bit stricter budget, and I have a ton of tarot decks that need homes. They need little bags, or wraps, or a place to live. And I was challenging myself to see what I could do without just going and buying one, because I know there's a lot of gorgeous bags for sale, but I have so many decks I need bags for, and I didn't want to spend that much money. So I thought, well, what can I do to make my own bag for my tarot cards? And I did try to sew one, and that didn't work very well because I am not super at sewing. I'm going to work on that, but as of now, that just wasn't it just, because I want it to look nice, so that didn't work out for me. So I ended up just knitting one. So, and I liked, because I found this is sock yarn, so it's like that, it's just got this really nice feel to it. It's bouncy, it's a wool, so it's all natural fibers, and it just kind of looked like, it just looked like a nice little fall colorway. So, so yeah, this is also the deck that I've been using most this month. So it's just a little pouch. It's nothing fancy, but I'm super thrilled that I started and finished a project. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I think this is pretty much the only tarot deck I used the entire month. I was like, how is that even possible? But, and it's the Mystical Tarot by, oh, now I'm going to forget, by Giuliano Costa. And so, I talked about this in my last video. I think I talked about it in my August overview video, but I just love this deck, and I've just been really enjoying working with it. It does have this kind of golden, like darker tones to it, so I feel like it's this lighting isn't very good today, so I don't think the colors are showing up very true, but I do really love this deck, and I love the kind of quirky imagery, and I just think it's kind of got some nice fall tones to it with like the gold and the darker jewel tones, and yeah, I've just been really loving it. I've been working with it like every day. I started a whole journal based on this. Like sometimes I just get on a thing and then I get obsessed and then I can't stop. So in my mind, I want to work with all these decks, and then I just have one and I just get kind of stuck working with it. And I don't want to say stuck working with it because it's a gorgeous deck. And because this deck didn't have, it just came with this little white book, and it's a little Scarabeo deck. So, most of this book, even though, it's not even English. So I like the little meanings it has for the cards. So I do keep this with there because I like the little insights it gives me into these cards. But the tarot book so I have 2 tarot books, and I haven't read completely either of them, but I have been kind of working through them piece by piece. I've been scattering my energy a bit when it comes to reading this month. I don't think I've finished an entire book at all, and I haven't read any fiction. And I just wanted to say, so that is one of the things that I've noticed about myself is I can only read so much nonfiction, and then I get bored, and I'm trying to have the discipline to stick with a book through the whole thing and just finish it. And I am able to do that sometimes, but I feel like in October I'm going to have to read some fiction, because I just need, like, I love reading, but I just, like, my mind has just been overwhelmed with nonfiction books. Biographies also I love to read, but because it's like a story, telling a story. And so the book that I don't have it sitting in front of me, but I do have the book Raven's Wand, by the same person that did the Raven's Wand Oracle, and is it Hutton? Stephen Hutton? That's probably wrong. I wish I had that book sitting out, but I have the Raven's Wand, the first novel. It's a series, and I was only able to find the first one in a physical copy, and I think the others I could find in an ebook. And I just I don't really read ebooks that much. That might have to change, but I did find the first book, and I am going to try to read that in October, so I'm excited. But Tarot for the Green Witch by Anne Mora is the tarot book that I've been working with in September. And what's interesting is I've had this book for a long time, and I just kind of looked through it, and I haven't actually sat down to read it or work with it or work with the meanings in readings, like do a reading and use her meanings that she listed, because some of them are quite different than, let's say, meanings that I traditionally worked with. What's interesting for me about the tarot is that, so many people have different interpretations of the cards, and that's fun to explore, but I feel like exploring the different meanings and then having my own set meanings just helps me in readings. So because if each card can mean too many different things, it's just hard to get a good grasp on the reading. So yeah, so that is I'm trying to think. Like, for example, this is what I was looking at. So the Seven of Swords. Where am I? Where's the Seven of Swords? Here it is. Okay, so Seven of Swords. So one of the meanings, she does show an image from a deck that has a fox on it. And now that I've been working with Lenormand all month, I'm like, fox, like sneakiness, deceit, like all that kind of stuff. But she lists here in her meanings that it shows that the odds may be surmounted through cunning and skillful guile. Diplomacy and creative thinking may be a factor, but the emphasis is on indirect action rather than confrontation. So it kind of goes through like, and here's like some keywords. She has strategy, success through perseverance, diplomacy and tact, new plans, creative action, confidence, fortitude, and so on. And the reversed meaning she has as deceit, plans postponed, frustration, inadequate diplomacy, betrayal. And so it's just really, it's interesting to see that meaning. And so what I've been doing this month, for the first half of the month, I was doing a 3-card tarot reading every day and journaling it and using the definition or the meanings from this particular book and seeing if how well that they fit for me with the cards, like in doing my readings, my daily draws, and just kind of at the end of the day seeing how well did those really fit into the situations. And it's been really interesting. I really like her meanings. There's just something like practical about them. Like that's the thing. Like I love tarot that it can be so abstract and involve like, you know, giant big concepts and meanings and feelings and psychological issues and stuff like that. I love that about the tarot, but sometimes I just want a really practical reading, especially for daily readings, because I feel like there's only so many giant concepts you can really chew on in a short period of time, and in one day you're not going to get those big, you know, like deep meanings. And so having, you know, a lot of like practical meanings in here is really interesting and nice. And I know this book came out a long time ago, so I don't know. It was just not one of those that I ever read, and I purchased it I think last year, and it's just been sitting on a shelf. So I gotta say, like, I have a lot of books back there, and I've read a lot of them, but a lot of them I bought because I was going to read them, and I never have. So that's actually going to be one of my goals in, you know, going forward, is to try to read several books from my bookshelves before I purchase any new ones. And that's actually been really hard for me because I just always want to buy books, even if I don't have the time to read them. So yeah, and then the other thing I really like about this book is she goes through the relationships of the cards, like different card combinations. Like here we go. Oh my gosh. 3 of Wands. And so she has like the Ace of Cups with the 3 of Wands, the 2 of Cups with the 3 of Wands. And I'm sure a lot of people are already very familiar with this book because it's been out so long. But like I said, it just kind of slipped under my radar. And I've just been really enjoying it. And so I've used a lot of the card meanings. I'm only partway through the actual reading of it because I do want to read it cover to cover, because that's like the way my brain works, and I feel like I haven't read a book if I haven't read it cover to cover. And yeah, so I'm working on that just a little bit at a time, because the other thing is where I live is a pretty conservative area, and sometimes if I'm just going to be out and about, like with my kids, or if I'm dropping them off in an activity and waiting, I don't always want to like whip out a tarot book. I don't know, because it's just like that kind of thing. Like it's very churchy here, and so I don't want to cause a stir when I'm with my kids. So that's just something I keep at home and I try to get to every once in a while. And then I've been also using the Pithy Tarot by James Rycliffe. I had his book a long time ago, Tarot Tells the Tale. I still have it. I read it a long time ago, and I've been wanting to reread it. I just really like, he did, I want to say, what was it called? Ask Nighthawk readings. That could be wrong, and I apologize if it is, but that's what's coming to my mind right now. And in his book, Tarot Tells the Tale, and I want to say it's Tarot Tells the Tale because I had a couple of his books, but I think it was Tarot Tells the Tale where he did like 3-card readings for like storybook characters or fictional characters from myths, and it's just a really interesting seeing how the different stories kind of are portrayed in their 3-card readings. And so I liked that book so much that I decided to get one of his other books. I believe this is was by Nighthawk Books. I think it's a self-published book, and it just gives, like, every card has like just some quotes or some pithy, you know, short meanings that kind of help, that kind of stick in your mind a bit. And I thought that might be fun to pick out a couple for each card and kind of write those in my tarot journal. So for example, I had opened to Justice, and some of the pithy meanings are: everyone loves justice in the affairs of others. Right action depends on right decision, and the value of right decision depends on taking right action. Take responsibility for your actions. When we tolerate injustice, we lose touch with our humanity. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. And that's a quote by Benjamin Franklin. I think those two are really great quotes. And so I've been going through, and when I pull a card, when I have time, I don't have time to do this every day, but like for my daily readings, if I pull a card and I'm interested in going a little bit deeper in that card, you know, pull out my tarot journal and write down like one or two quotes or pithy meanings for that card that really stick out to me on that page of my journal. So that has been really fun. I might try to read through this front to back. For me, it's kind of more like a resource book than it is like a read through it type of a book, but it's been really interesting. Some of the quotes have like little explanations. Gosh, I don't know why that's doing that. It's crazy. It's like the light. I'm blinded by the light. So the thing that I've been working with the most this month, I mentioned that I would be working with it in my August video, but I've been working with the Essential Lenormand book by Ronna George. I've read about half of it. I don't know. It's like the light is like blinding today, but I've read about half of the book. But I've also kind of skipped to the back and started doing some of the activities, because even though I've only read like all the way through half the book, I've also looked up a lot of the cards and read a lot of the meanings. So I've kind of gotten the gist of the meanings, even though I haven't read each of the individual cards. And so this is what happened last time. I looked up when I bought my first Lenormand deck, and it was in 2012. So it was 7 years ago. And I got really obsessed really fast with Lenormand. Like I had one deck, and I had the one book as a Sylvie Stein box book. I want to say it's The Secrets of the Lenormand Oracle, but I could be mistaken about the title. And I was doing readings all the time. I was studying the cards. I was studying the different combinations. Like I did that, like for, it just got really intense really fast, but only for a short period of time, because I was right before I had kids. And so that kind of got, set aside, and some other stuff came up. So when I got this deck and started reading about it, like I started to get pretty obsessed again. I even started using this and playing with it, and maybe not doing like tarot cards one day. I'm doing like daily Lenormand readings. It's just, yeah. And I just have been in love with this deck. I just absolutely love it. I like her extra cards, although I'm trying to get clear on the meanings for me, because I have some cards that come up all the time, and I'm just like, I don't understand how they fit in this context, So yeah, this has been really interesting. And one of my favorite activities, whoa, that's the clouds. One of my favorite activities that I've been doing with this deck is I will sit with it, like I'll shuffle it, and I'll be watching like a show on Netflix, and I will, as like in real time, like as the show's playing, like I'll just like draw a couple of cards, and I'll be like, okay, oh, that one fell. you know, tower and letter, for example, like do pairs and say, how is this tower and letter combination? How is that working with what's going on in the show? And that's just been really fun because sometimes, you know, like what I would say here, you know, if it without any context and without any question, without any what does that mean, you know, just coming up with stuff. That's a drill that I've been doing that they suggest in the that she Ronna George suggests in her book, The Essential Lenormand. But I've been really enjoying using it with the shows because it's fun to see like the different kind of is like out of the box ideas. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but yeah. So it's been really fun. So I've been using that a lot, and that's been really great. An idea that I had was I want to do, so I do tarot readings and oracle readings already, but I want to do some practice Lenormand readings. So I had the idea about maybe just doing some readings on the channel here. You know, just free readings on the channel, just for anybody that was interested. Just for for extra practice for me, and I thought it would be fun to see like how I would come up with the meanings of the different cards, and you know, if anybody that also reads Lenormand had ideas for alternate meanings, I thought that might be fun. So if you think that you'd be interested in seeing that, then just let me know in the comments, and that would be great. So a couple of decks that I plan on working with in October. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm trying to hurry because it was getting long, but so one of the crystal skulls that I've had for a while is this little star bean, rainforest jasper named Rain, and it's hard to see all the beautiful patterns, but just absolutely gorgeous one. And so I just got this in September, this cute little one, and it has a really interesting shape. I got this one from Candace from Coyote Moon, and I love this one. And the name that she had for this was Rio, which was interesting because the name that I have decided to use is River, which is the same thing as Rio basically, but I just like that it's rain and river. Oops, where's your face? There you go. So I thought that was cute. So those are the crystal skulls, and they've kind of like, now that I always want to set them together and like a little pair, I don't know, super cute. So that's that. And a couple of decks that I think I'm going to be working with coming up in October are ones that I hadn't planned on working with in the fall, but I just got this one recently, and it's Power Animals of the Planet Oracle Deck and Companion Guide. This is the companion guide, Oracle Deck by Ellen Brenneman, Power Animals of the Planet. I got this from her Etsy shop, and I apologize because I forget the name of her Etsy shop at the moment. Anyway, this is a gorgeous deck. It came in this cute little bag. And I ordered this a while back, and I had gotten it, and I just hadn't had taken the time to sit down and really work with it, and I've just been really wanting to. So I think this is the back of the deck. I love it. I'm just really looking forward to sitting down and working with this deck. I might do a little bit more of a walkthrough on this channel soon, so I won't go through too many of these, but I love her artwork. It's so bright and so colorful, and clarity and focus. That's what I need right now. And so I haven't had time to read the book or anything, so I don't know much about that, but I do know that I absolutely love the artwork. And it's a small deck. I want to say 35. It's only 35 cards, but I'm going to use them as focus points on my altar. I'm going to have one setting out all the time and just kind of rotate through them. So that's how I'm going to work with those. And then this one, Earth Magic by Stephen D. Farmer. I had this deck for a while, and when I did my clearing out earlier this year of decks. Those was actually on my list of things to kind of pass along because I hadn't been using it. Although I love the artwork, it was just one of those decks. I feel like for me, everybody's brain works differently. And for me, a lot of Hay House decks, like I love the artwork and I want to be able to work with them. And somehow there is like a disconnect in my head from like when I stare at the images to what like the meanings are in the book. And I know I did that a lot with the Enchanted Map Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. Like I tried to use that deck for months and I would pull cards and it's just, I would stare at the picture and be like, I don't understand how this is that meaning. Like, I don't know. It was just it was a weird thing for me. So, that was happening with this, even though it has a keyword. The only deck that I really clicked with, that's like a big Hay House deck, was the Angel Tarot by Bradley Valentine, previously by During Virtue and Bradley Valentine. But just, you know, these images are just gorgeous, and so I had passed this along to my oldest child just to look through because the images are just pretty. There's nothing like violent, you know, it's very like, I feel like child friendly, and so I had let him look through these cards, and just recently he decided he would rather have a deck with fairies in it. So I traded him a fairy deck for this deck back because I'm trying to teach him to take care of things and that things are not just disposable. We don't just throw them away and get something new. And anyway, so I was looking through this deck and I was like, wow, I really like this deck. And so having come back into my life, I feel like I'm going to try to start using it again this month and see if I can connect with it a little bit better. So that is that, and probably some other decks too, but we'll see. Like, I really only worked with my Lenormand deck and my Mystical Tarot for the most part in September. It was a crazy month. So I think that's everything. This video is long enough already. I'm just excited to be making videos again. I hope to catch up with watching a lot of, like, there's people on YouTube that I love watching their videos, and I just kind of almost been in hiding for a month. Like, I know it sounds weird, but that's just my personality. Like, when I get stressed or overwhelmed, I just kind of shut down and hide. I still go out and do things. I still talk to people. I still, you know, I even had social events that I went to, but when I was home, and I wasn't like, I was shut down at home. I was like, I am at home and I am in my little space and I cannot come out right now for the sake of my mental health. And I feel like that's kind of like, you know, relaxing a little bit. So I'm just happy to be back making videos. And I hope to catch up with everybody and all comments if I've missed them. And I hope you've had a wonderful September. I keep thinking it's October. It's still September, but I hope you have a wonderful October too. And I will talk to you later. All right, bye.